Right. Okay. So in terms of, we've talked about time, which I believe is the most important resource that any of us have. The second most important thing, which is basically just time, is money. Now, can everyone see my screen? So it should say cash flow. Cool. Hold on. I can't see you when I'm doing this. Hold on. Yeah, people see my screen? Cool. Okay, excellent. A few different sayings about cash flow. First, I've already used cash is king. So it doesn't matter what your turnover is. Turnover is vanity. Profit, they say, is sanity, but cash is reality. And honestly, cash is one of the most difficult things to build in your life and in your business. And it's like time. You've got to start thinking it. You've got to start planning it. Paul said this the last time we met. Cash flow is the oxygen to your business. If you don't have cash in your business, you will die. And in the beginning times, you've got to prioritize cash. And the next thing which someone said to me is like, money is meant to flow through you. That's why they call it currency. In businesses, sometimes you'll be dealing with vast amounts of money, much more money than you actually have. But you've got to make sure that is flowing. That's the idea about cash flow. You've got to have cash and it's got to be flowing. Those are the really simple principles that we're talking about. Next thing is, now I wanted to give a huge shout out to Jasmine here, because she put on the Momentum Mighty Networks this amazing spreadsheet, which is basically all you ever need really when you're planning your cash flow. So I'm using Jasmine's cash flow forecast. It's a simple spreadsheet, and I'm just going to talk you through how you use it. If you're running your business, when I started Communion, my dad worked with an insolvency accountant, and I said, because I didn't have the foggiest idea, Eddie, what do I need to know? And he basically drew me this chart out on a piece of paper. And honestly, it's the one spreadsheet that I look at more than anything else in my business. And that's the thing about cash flow. This will never go away. Doesn't matter who you are in your business. If you're running a business, this is the most important document in your business. So let's just have a look at it. Now, what it is there's like all charts, there's things down here, and they start from the top. But we're not going to quite start from the top. We're going to start kind of halfway down, and that's called your expenditure. Now we start here because these things are often easier to identify. It's often easier where you're going to spend your money than when that money is going to come from. So let's start with the easy things. And then along the top, we have different months. Now the place we start on this is on month 1. It doesn't really matter where you start, you just start anywhere. And if you're planning your cash flow, you just start at the beginning, which is month 1. And then I love this, Jasmine. Put the most important item of expenditure in first. Your accountant and your bookkeeper, amazing. Get them paid. So put the money in, and you can just list what you know your costs are going to be. Now, it's important to say that when you're starting off, you just don't know, but that doesn't stop you having a guess. And if you're going to guess, just be on the slight conservative side. Don't be massively conservative because the sums won't add up. But if you don't know and you think something's going to be 45 quid, just put 50 quid in. If you think it's going to be 90 quid, put 100 quid in, just so that you've got a little, just use round figures. So I've just banged some figures in this. So these are kind of ideas of monthly costs that you might run into: accountants, marketing, insurance, some kind of mileage, some kind of office costs, other costs, phones, some kind of professional fees like Momentum. And then the most important thing that I put down here is your cost, the cost that you want to take out of the business month by month by month. Honestly, I put that top. You start with what you want to pay yourself, and then everyone else comes after you. There's a great book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And we'll come on to it. But, they say pay yourself first. Everyone else can wait. And I think there's some sense in that. Because if you don't get paid, no one else is going to get paid either. And the great thing about that is, like our time, hey, look, we get Jasmine's spreadsheet will magically add those things up. Now, I remember I'm old enough to remember when spreadsheets came out. And before that, you had to do it yourself. And that was bloody hard work. So this is like God's gift to everyone's running a business. You put these figures in, and it magically adds up for you. Right. Now, the second thing is, then this is about the future. This isn't, we're not looking at just 1 month here. We're basically going to play a game. Now, there's two ways of doing this. The one way is to start a business and not do this, and then get to the end of the year and see how you're doing. And I really don't advise that. The second way is to spend 5 minutes putting this together and seeing where you're going to be in 12 months' time. So the way that you do that is basically, most costs are kind of constant. So you basically just copy your first column and you paste that into your second, your third, your fourth, your fifth. And you keep on going until you get to the end of the year. Now, what the next really, really clever thing about Jasmine's cash flow forecast is, you can see that there's a monthly expenditure here, at basically £1,500. And then there's this thing called gross profit or gross loss. And if it's in brackets, it means that it's a loss, just for a word to the wise. And at the moment, we are losing everything that we're spending because we've got no money coming in. And then there's this next row here, which is your cumulative total. So the great thing is that after literally 3 minutes work, we can see that it's really probably going to cost us the best part of 20K to run our business for 1 year. And so suddenly that gives us a target. And the biggest cost in there should well be the amount of money that you're going to take away from that business. Because honestly, one of the tests I've got is, if you can go and work for someone else who will pay you more money than you can earn in your business, go and do that. Because honestly, unless you are earning money in your business or got a plan to earn money, it's just too much hard work and strife. So, one of the biggest lessons I learned in business is watching my dad, who struggled in business for a long time and lost, a fair amount of money at the end of the day. And I knew that at the end of the month, I had the mortgage to pay. And therefore, I had an absolute target. And if I didn't earn the amount of money, we didn't pay the mortgage and we didn't eat. And honestly, that starts to give some real emphasis to earning that money. And never, ever, ever lose that. Now, there'll be some times when you can't always earn that money. And that's kind of not exactly all right. But, you've got to make sure that you can earn that money sometime, because nature is brutally honest. And if you don't do it, it's not going to end well. So the first thing I'm wanting to say about this is, let's look at this. Let's put down the costs that we are reasonably expected to incur, and let's figure out what the annual total is going to be. Right. That's the depressing note. Now, the fun bit is actually trying to figure out how we're going to earn that money. Now, basically what I've got going on here is that, Kez, you started talking about this a little bit earlier, is that you can do various things. So really what you want to prioritize is the thing that's going to earn you most money for the least amount of time. Yeah. But it's, I'm always amazed with what we do is that, okay, we'll do that, we'll do that, we'll do that, we'll do that. And amazingly, if you look after the pennies, the pounds will look after themselves. When you're thinking about, so what you're thinking about here is, what am I going to sell? Who am I going to get this money from? Who are my clients? What are my products? And then you just say, okay, well, I can do that for them. I can do this for them. I can do that for them. Or, I can do 3 of those and that will give me, and that, again, we don't know this, but this isn't reality. This is a budget. This is an idea. It's just an idea written. It's not an idea written in beautiful calligraphy. It's an idea written down in a spreadsheet. So start to think how you can earn the money that you need each month, and then write those things in. And then do exactly the same thing and put them in month by month by month. Now, what I really loved about, again, another really amazing thing about Jasmine's spreadsheet is that if you made money down in here in the 1 month, it brought it up and gave you it for the next month. So suddenly, if you make yourself £300 or £600, it carries it forward, and therefore you start to get an idea. Okay, yeah, look, I've got a carry forward here. So suddenly we're in the other way. We're not incurring debt, we're incurring profit. But just think, okay, you just got to think about where am I getting my money from month by month and month, and put those things down there. That's all you got to do. And what you look to is kind of saying, fine, what's the end game here? What we're asking you to do is look forward 1 whole year and say, okay, reasonably, I know what my costs are going to be. Do I have a vision of how I'm going to earn that money? And this is just a simple spreadsheet. And this is going to be one of your actions for this month, is that some people might be running these things and other people won't. If you're planning a business, this is where you start to think about it, and just talk to other people in your line of work or something similar, or, just simple things, and put those things down, and then put down how you think you're going to earn this. Now, there's a really important principle above this, which is this line should always be more money. There should be more money up here than there is down there. And really, what I find is the costs are always more than what you generally anticipate. And sometimes, a lot of the time, it's harder to get the money in. So that's why I would say to you, you've got to have a real vision for this top line. And I would say that this top line has got to be in your mind between 20 to 30 to 40% more than the bottom line. Because if you can get this top line with a good measure of excess compared to the bottom line, you stand a chance of breaking even. And things aren't going to go bang to plan. So try and be a little bit cautious with your costs, and try and figure out all the time how you can earn more money, because those are the basic rules of business, that you've got to figure out all the time how you can earn more money and how you can reduce your costs.